Good gravy. What have we got here? She awake? There you are. I'm not here to hurt you. I promise. I'm not here to hurt you. My name's Missy. I work on this here ranch. Yeah, saw you lying on the side of the road, and I thought I'd come over and make sure you were all right. You doing okay? Yeah, I'll take that as a no. All right, darling, stay with me. Yeah, I'm guessing you got beat up pretty good somewhere. Yeah, do you remember what happened? Okay, all right. Well, you mind if I just take a quick look, make sure you're not hurt anywhere in particularly badly? All right, let me see. Not seeing any direct injuries to the head, so that's good. That's a good place to start, isn't it, darling? All right, so now I'm gonna look, just kind of check your arms, check your legs, make sure you don't got any. Oh, yeah, you do got quite a nice scrape down here. Don't mind if I just take a quick look? All right. Yeah, it looks like your dress got torn up pretty good. Yeah, they weren't being too polite, whoever they were they? You should never cut up a lady's dress. It's very bad manners. All right, well, darling. I'm guessing since you were knocked out pretty good when I came here and found you, you probably hit your head somewhere. I didn't see any blood or anything like that, so I think you're gonna be okay. But I'm guessing you got a concussion, so you got any folks around here that are gonna be looking for you that I need to, know might be looking for you, since I probably need to take you back to my cabin? I don't really understand, darling. Oh, really? Like just now? Oh, darling, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, man. Yeah, I know there's a lot of bandits around these parts, but I thought we'd done a good enough job keeping them off our property. I'm sorry, so your folks were with you. Where were you heading? Into town? Yeah, my sister lives in town. I go there quite frequently. Do you know what happened to your folks? Like, are they around here somewhere? Did the banditos take them? Oh, man, darling, I'm sorry. I'm real sorry. Yeah, I'm guessing, if that's the case, I'm guessing you're in a bit of shock right now, too. Yeah, there she goes again. Yeah. Well, darling, I know you don't feel like it, but I need to try to get you out of the elements and back to my cabin, okay? I share a cabin with a few of the other lady ranchers. We run this ranch together, and I need to get you there, okay? So, first, I think I need to see if I can get some fluids into you, because I'm guessing if you've been out here for a while, you're probably pretty dehydrated. Yeah. I got some water here. Never took much of a liking to whiskey. Just the good old water. We got a nice well here on the property. So, I know you don't feel like it, but I want you to take a few sips of this, all right? All right. That's a good girl. Good girl. One more, just one more. There we go. Alrighty. Alright. Yeah, well, like I said anyway, my name's Missy. It's nice to meet you. Wish we could have met under better circumstances, but I'm gonna take you back to my cabin, okay? Take good care of you. Oh, man, there she goes again. Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me, darling? Oh. Good morning, darling. You're awake. How you feeling? Yeah, I suspected as much. You're still looking pretty pale. Don't worry, I'll get you fixed up and cleaned up good. Now that we're here at my cabin, well, our cabin, I share it with the ladies. Nothing can really get to you. It'd have to come through that door, and it'd have to get through me, and trust me, I can put up a pretty good fight. But alrighty, put that aside. Yeah, you done passed out on me. I had to haul you up on my horse and get you the rest of the way here. Don't worry about it. Hey, I'm glad I was there when I was. I don't know how much longer you would have lasted out there. Yeah, your leg is still bleeding pretty good. I think I need to get that fixed up. I know it's gonna hurt. I know it's gonna hurt. We just gotta get you taken care of. I gotta stop that bleeding and make sure it doesn't get infected. I'm not really sure what did it. It's not a bullet wound, so I won't have to pull any bullets out of you, which is great because I've had to do that before. The girls here say I'm kind of the unofficial surgeon here on the ranch, which, to be fair, I've done a lot of cleaning and fixing up wounds and whatnot. You can get into a lot of trouble on a ranch, trust me. But to be honest, to be fair, the girls, they patched me up plenty of times, trust me, so. Alrighty, so first thing I need to do is I need to get more fluids into you. Alright? Because when you lose that much blood, you need to make sure you're getting the water back in you, okay? I know your stomach hurts. This'll help, trust me. It'll also help you not feel so dizzy, because I know, I can tell by the look in your eyes you're feeling really woozy right now. So I want you to be a good girl and drink a few more sips of this, alright? Alright. There you go. Alright, that's a good girl. Good girl, I'm proud of you. Okie dokes. Gotta take care of that wound now, okay? Now, notice you're wearing a dress. And in order to get to that wound, I'm going to have to either take the dress, the skirt off, or I'm going to have to cut it off. It's pretty torn up and bloody, but I figured I would ask you first. Just cut it up? Okay, I can do that. Alright. Yeah. It's good. You're a brave girl. So, it looks honestly almost like a wire cut, or like you caught something falling off of your horse, which in retrospect is probably what happened. If you can't remember, since we don't know, I'm just gonna assume you fell off your horse and that's why you were knocked out when I found you. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to clean it up with some water and it's gonna be wet from the water, some water and a cloth, okay? And after I clean it up with some water and a cloth, I'm gonna have to bandage it up, and I may have to put stitches in it, but I don't know until I get in there, okay? Alright. Do you want a bullet to bite or anything like that? Alright, I figure not. But what you can do, when it hurts, you can squeeze my jacket. Just watch out for the buttons, because they probably wouldn't be real nice to grip real hard, if you know what I mean. So, here's my jacket. You can have that, and the more it hurts, the more you can squeeze that jacket, alright? There you go. There's that. And now I'm gonna get started, okay? Alright. Okay, I'm gonna count to 3, and then I'm just gonna be real gentle, and I think it'll actually feel good because it looks kind of hot and swollen. So I think that having this wet cloth on there will really help it feel better, okay? Alright, 1, 2, 3. You're doing good, darling. I know it hurts. I know it stings. You're doing good. You're doing real good. You're so brave. just gonna get the last. Looks like it was starting to scab over, so I think you're gonna be fine. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Stay with me. I'm done, okay? I'm done. I'm not gonna show it to you. I'm done, okay? Done with that part. Now I gotta bandage it up. I'm not really sure what this is that we got for bandages here, but I'm gonna make it work. It's the best thing I could find. When I got here, I went straight to the cabinet where we keep the first aid, and I thought, what could I do to fix up this girl's leg? So this is what we found. I'm gonna bandage you up real good. And hopefully that pressure, it's not gonna feel nice, but stop the bleeding. So that'll be good. So I'm just gonna go in and bandage it real quick, okay? Alrighty. Alright, that's the first part done. Wrap the second part. Alright, that's it. That's done. Yeah. How you feeling? Feeling like you're gonna pass out? Not quite? I'll take that as a good answer for now. Better than I thought. So, your color's coming back a little bit, so you're looking a little better. So you're squeezing that jacket pretty tight, so I know it hurts. Anything I could do to help get your mind off of it? I could read to you a little bit. Yeah, I got this here book. I'm not much of a romance person, but I like the Jane Austen books. This is Pride and Prejudice, real fancy version. My sister's lending it to me. She's a librarian. She works in the city. And she's lending it to me. She finds all sorts of pretty books. Now, obviously, this one's not from the library, because this would done be beat up in about 5 minutes. This is not library patron proof, but she trusts me enough to let me read it. It's so pretty, so purty. It's got these purty blue pages. It's a charming story. And the back says, "You and Papa and my sisters must come down and see us. We shall be at Newcastle all the winter, and I dare say there'll be some balls, and I'll take care to get good partners for 'em all." I don't remember who said that part. I've read it before, not this pretty version, but I've read it before. I think that might have been Lydia. Lydia, she's a real troublemaker. Worst part is she doesn't really know it. She just thinks she's having fun. But anyway, I could maybe read you part of this. Help you get to feeling a little bit better. Just kind of give you something to distract your mind. Alright, I will. First, you know what we gotta do, darling. One more time. And then, as long as you can keep this down, I'm gonna get you some food into you. I got some good leftover biscuits from the other night. Carol, she's the best baker out of us all. I can cook, but Carol's the only one that's really got a knack for it. My biscuits are like hockey pucks. All right, a little more water, darling. That's a good girl. You're doing so good. You're so brave. I know this has got to be hard for you. You know, that reminds me, before I read to you, is there anybody in town or anywhere else that you got relations, family, anybody that I can take you back to, or that I can at least send word to that I found you? Got an aunt and uncle? They could live in town? Okay, you think they'd want to see you? Oh, they're where you were going? Okay, well, I can take you there. Oh, you don't want to go there? Oh, alright. be so bold as to ask why not. Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. All right, well. Oh, really? You got a feller? Oh, darling. I'm surprised he wasn't out here before I was. Oh, I didn't mean it that way, darling. I was just trying to make a joke. Oh, I see. You don't want to marry him, do you? That's okay. Look at me. I'm living out here on a ranch, my best life. I ain't opposed to matrimony, but I'm not going to marry just for the sake of marrying, darling. Yeah, of course not. Why would I do that? Nah. And that's not what this ring is, anyway. Yeah, this is a different ring. Different type of ring, darling. Not that type of ring. Yeah, my parents got me that ring, actually, but that's a whole nother story. Alrighty. So let me just make sure I get this straight so I can, understand what's going on. So, your parents had a family friend. Your aunt and uncle kind of picked him out for you. You don't really like him. And you'd rather just kind of stay out here. Well, I don't got a problem with that, darling. If you want to stay with me, as long as your aunt and uncle are okay with it, if they're in charge of you, if they're supposed to be given charge of you. Now that your parents are gone, I don't know how that is set up to work in your family, but if they're okay with it, I'm okay with it. If you just want to stay here with me and the ladies, yeah. We have fun. It's work. We work real hard. We have fun, too. Yeah, every Friday night we all get around and we do something fun. We'll play cards or sometimes we paint our nails. I'm not very good at it, but, So what if my nails look terrible on Monday? It's fun to do them on Friday night. All right, well, you are welcome to stay here as long as you want. And to help you kind of get your mind off of the unpleasant feeling that I can imagine is coming from your leg right now, I'd be happy to read you a little bit out of this. It's got a beautiful beginning. Another thing is, care to go to church with me and the ladies on Sunday? Yeah, me and the ladies, we go to church. You a praying woman? Yeah, I'm a praying woman. Yeah, it's what gets me through most days. But we've had a fair share of preachers come through here. I think the one we got now is the best one we ever had. There are some of them that really kind of just embellish on the scripture, and the one we got now, he's real good. If you want to come on Sunday, if you're feeling up to it, you're more than welcome to come. Now, if you're not feeling up to it, I certainly ain't leaving you home by yourself, just in case those bandits are still around. But how's about some reading? All right. Need a blanket or anything? No, plenty warm. All right. So let's get started. Jane Austen. Pride and Prejudice. And this is Mr. Darcy and Miss Elizabeth Bennet. Fabulous characters. I never did, of course, well, I wouldn't have because it's not my book. Nobody ever wrote their name on the front flap, or the front page, I should say. So, the description that the editors or whatever have added here at the beginning of the book says, here, let me move a little closer. Again, it says here, when Elizabeth Bennet first meets eligible bachelor Fitzwilliam Darcy, she thinks him arrogant and conceited. Darcy finds himself indifferent to Elizabeth Bennet's good looks and lively mind. Later, when Elizabeth discovers that Darcy has involved himself in the troubled relationship between his friend Bingley and her beloved sister Jane, she dislikes him more than ever. In the comedy of misdirected manners that follow, Jane Austen shows the reader the error of judging by first impressions. And I think according to the back, that the book was originally titled First Impressions. Yeah, it says here. Originally titled First Impressions, Pride and Prejudice was published anonymously in 1813 to favorable reviews. Because back then, I mean, it's no different than now. You know, it's a little harder for women to get into certain fields, you know. That didn't mean it couldn't be done. Sure didn't. Alright, chapter 1. And since you've been awake long enough, if you want to drift off to sleep a little bit while I read, you're more than welcome. Chapter 1. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. However little known the feelings or views of such a man may be on his first entering a neighborhood, this truth is so well fixed in the minds of the surrounding families that he is considered the rightful property of some one or other of their daughters. "My dear Mr. Bennet," said his lady to him one day, "have you heard that Netherfield Park is let at last?" Mr. Bennet replied that he had not. "But it is," returned she, "for Mrs. Long has just been there, and she told me all about it." Mr. Bennet made no answer. "Do you not want to know who is taking it?" cried the wife impatiently. "You want to tell me, and I have no objection to hearing it." Mr. Bennet, he's so funny. This was invitation enough. "Why, my dear, you must know. Mrs. Long says that Netherfield is taken by a young man of large fortune from the north of England. He came down on Monday in a chaise and four to see the place, and I was so much delighted with it. Oh, and he was so much delighted with it that he agreed with Mr. Morris immediately that he is to take possession before Michaelmas, and some of his servants are to be in the house by the end of the week, or end of next week, excuse me. What is his name? Bingley. Is he married or single?" "Oh, single, my dear, to be sure. A single man, a large fortune, 4,000 or 5,000 a year, and a fine thing for our girls." "How so? How can it affect them?" "Oh, my dear Mr. Bennet," replied his wife, "how can you be so tiresome? You must know that I'm thinking of his marrying one of them." "Is that his design in settling here?" "Design? Nonsense, how can you talk so? But it is very likely that he may fall in love with one of them, and therefore you must visit him as soon as he comes." "I see no occasion for that. You and the girls may go, or you may send them by themselves, which perhaps will still be better, for you are as handsome as any of them. Mr. Bingley may like you the best of the party." Isn't that nice? They're both growing old, and got, how many girls? Let's see, there's Elizabeth, Jane, Kitty, and Lydia, and Mary. I think that's 5. That's 5, yeah. Where I go to school, that's 5. Elizabeth, Jane, Lydia, Kitty, and Mary, yeah, that's 5. Where I went to school, that's 5. All right. "My dear, you flatter me. I certainly have had my share of beauty, but I do not pretend to be anything extraordinary now. Oh, I just realized I totally lost my train of thought a second ago. I was saying, it's nice that they're growing old, have 5 daughters, but he still takes the time to say something nice to his wife about her pretty looks. Forgive me, sometimes I get on a train of thought and then I totally let it leave the station without me. All right. When a woman has 5 grown-up daughters, yeah, it's 5. See, apparently me and Jane Austen went to the same kind of school. It's 5. She ought to give over thinking of her own beauty. In such cases, a woman has not often much beauty to think of. But, my dear, you must indeed go and see Mr. Bingley when he comes to the neighborhood. It is more than I engage for, I assure you. But consider your daughters. Only think what an establishment it would be for one of them. Sir William and Lady Lucas are determined to go merely on that account, for in general, you know, they visit no newcomers. Indeed, you must go, for it will be impossible for us to visit him if you do not. You are over-scrupulous, Shirley. I dare say Mr. Bingley will be very glad to see you, and I will send him a few lines by you to assure him of my hearty consent to his marrying whichever he chooses of the girls, though I must throw in a good word for my little Lizzie. See, Lizzie, Elizabeth, that's what they call her. She's kind of her daddy's favorite. She's daddy's girl. She's the second oldest after Jane. I desire you will do no such thing. Lizzie is not a bit better than the others. I am sure she is not half so handsome as Jane, nor half so good-humored as Lydia. You have to excuse me. But you are always giving her the preference. They have none of them much to recommend them, replied he. They are all silly and ignorant like other girls, but Lizzie has something more of quickness than her sisters. Mr. Bennet, how can you abuse your own children in such a way? You take delight in vexing me. You have no compassion for my poor nerves. You mistake me, my dear. I have a high respect for your nerves. They are my old friends. I have heard you mention them with consideration these last 20 years at least. Ah, you do not know what I suffer, but I hope you will get over it and live to see many young men of 4,000 a year come into the neighborhood. It will be no use to us if 20 such should come, since you will not visit them. Depend upon it, my dear, that when there are 20, I will visit them all. Mr. Bennet was so odd a mixture of quick parts, sarcastic humor, reserve, and caprice. Caprice or caprice? I think it's caprice. You look like you're about to go to sleep. That the experience of 23 years had been insufficient to make his wife understand his character. Her mind was less difficult to develop. She was a woman of mean understanding, little information, and uncertain temper. When she was discontented, she fancied herself nervous. The business of her life was to get her daughters married. Its solace was visited